right. I'm gonna need to hear your voice a little bit just to see.
Mic check, yo. Yeah. Is it cool when I'm sitting back too? Yeah, it looks like it's picking up pretty well.
Yeah, I think you're. Yeah, that's you on the top. Yeah.
Nah.
These actually mics are pretty good. I remember I was looking up what mics to buy, and for some reason somebody really reviewed these pretty bad.
For real?
Yeah, because they were like saying like it's too good of a mic, so it picks up. Like if your place isn't like soundproof, you pick up everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, at first I was like, I don't know, and so I just got it anyway. But now I kind of like that it picks up outdoor ambiance and shit like that. It feels real as fuck. Cause like that's.
Is this my bad?
Go ahead,
bro.
No, dude.
Is this a fucking dynamic or? Do you know what kind of microphone it is?
What's dynamic mean?
Dynamic is like kind of like for stage mics, or like I think it would be necessarily for broadcast as well. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't pick up what it's not focused on. Like if I'm not here on the mic, it's not really picking it up. Yeah. So that it is, because if you look if you see on the back of mine, I'm below the gain. That controls what area it activates. So right now. Right. So this is like an audio mic. So like right now I have it setting so you're just getting this. Right. And it like, so if you're talking loud enough, it will pick you up, but you're gonna sound like way far away. Okay. Like you're in the back. But then you can switch it where it's like this and then like this for like dual. So when I was just one, I'd put it between us and I'll set it that way so it's just this. But then anything right here is a little less down. It's not like canceled completely, right? But it's still, because it picks it up from here. Yeah, it changes the pattern. And then you can set it where it goes omnial, so the whole thing is activated, so you can hear. So that's like if I had like a bunch of people and like it was like 4 of us, and like so like if all 4 of us did it, I'd probably just have one. I'll probably have 2. I'd probably be like one here, and then like one over there. So then it would be like.
That's what I was wondering, because I'm like, how many mics do I need to have like 4 people on an interview?
So this one's on the cardioid pattern. Meaning, like, it's just picking up whatever's in front of it, right? Yeah. So is that the front side or the top?
Front. There's nothing up here. Right. So the sweet spot is right here.
So, yeah, right here. All right.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
That's dope.
How many mics would I need, though, to interview 4 people?
4? It depends how you set it up. With this one, you'd be okay with just 1. But if you want, like, nice quality, I would say 2. Because then you could have 1 for like you and somebody else, and then 1 for somebody and another 2, because you can fit 2 people like right here. Okay, yeah. But you can do it with 1 because you can set it where it'll pick up everyone, but not anyone will sound particularly that clear. Yeah. So I would do 2 if you want, like. I mean, ideally you want 4, but. Yeah. Exactly. Ideally, but that's in a perfect world. Yeah. All right. What's going on, everybody? It is the Sit Down Podcast, and it's another week. And I'm here, your boy, a.k.a. OMG, on the mic. And, yeah. I don't know why I came in so hot, guys. I'm sorry if I blew your ears out. But I'm just super excited, guys. This has been such a fun journey in Season 2. It's already taken me places that I've never would have thought of and never would have even, planned for. It's almost like it's just like a lily pad of fun over here on the Sit Down Podcast, and I hope you're experiencing that. I know you're not here with me. I know you're not physically here with me, but you're listening to me. You've been following the journey. I hope you've been enjoying it. And this week I have another great venture. I have another great guest. I'm in another great place. If you heard last week's episode, I was in a studio called Room 33. Is that Room 33?
Yeah.
The official? Yeah. Recording studio. And this week, I'm still here. I've been sitting here for an entire week. No, I'm just kidding. I'm recording one after another. That's how we do in the podcast world. Sometimes you need a bang for your buck. And so we're doing 2 episodes right here. Actually, I think we're doing 3. Doing 3 episodes. So next week, I still will be wearing the same shirt. I haven't changed it. I actually thought about that on the way over here, that I should have brought 2-3 shirts.
It's like that though when you're on the grind, you know what I'm
saying? Yeah, so you forget the little things sometimes, you know. Right. But yeah, I have a great guest here. It's the first time I met him. I met him through my last guest, Odyssey. That's kind of how we got set up, and I'm glad I get to meet him, man. He seems like an amazing dude. He's a perfect host. And he's somebody you definitely are going to want to hear from, because he has the one and only studio in Santa Maria, and that's something I want to do. And I know for you artists out there, maybe even you podcasters out there, it's something you kind of like look up to and try to get yourself, is your own creative space. It's something I've done in my own apartment, but it'd be dope to have our own little studio. So this is someone you're definitely going to want to listen to. So pay attention. But I introduced my guest here as Lil Bonez, man. Welcome to the Sit Down Podcast. How are you doing? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, you're having me.
I mean, I'm a guest on the show, you know what I'm saying?
Guest on the show.
Hey, I appreciate you coming through, man. That was a long drive. Shout out to Odyssey Visual. She's in the room, too.
She's in right here.
Much love, y'all.
Connecting the dots, you feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how you feeling right now, man? How was today, like a Saturday afternoon, feeling for you?
Sunday.
Oh, shit. It's Sunday, man.
But, hey, man, usually Sundays are family days for me. But, Odyssey's the homie. So, she hit me up and then, let me know the situation that you guys wanted to set something up. So, I'm willing to do that for the homie.
Oh, man. Well, appreciate that. I appreciate I had no idea, man, but I appreciate you taking the time and letting me come in here.
But it's always a pleasure, man. Like, anytime that I could do something that involves, connecting with people or just anything to help promote the music or the whole scene and, connect with people, like I said, man.
Yeah.
I'm willing to step out and do it.
I wanted to start off with... Wait. Actually, no. Tell me the importance of family time, man. That's something I actually haven't talked about a lot on this show.
Everybody should have family time, man. Like, you got to make sure that you guys keep your circle tight. So
yeah.
Especially me having a kid, So I always put my daughter first.
So you're a father?
Yeah.
One?
Yeah, I got 1 3-year-old.
Okay.
She's gonna be 4 in January.
4.
Yeah,
so you already got through the terrible 2s and all that. Was it that terrible?
It's getting worse. It's getting worse, man.
It's getting worse.
Nah, it's cool, man. She's a good kid. But yeah, I mean, it's tough.
She catching an attitude these days?
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
Little girls, girls are always in control. So I try to make her happy.
What's kind of like your I guess parenting style, but like, how do you feel as a father? Like, what do you think the father role is like for you now that you have a daughter? Like, what is that?
Being supportive and setting the rules, boundaries. I try not to be too strict because I know it's different. I'm not used to girls because I got 2 brothers.
Okay.
So growing up in an all-man household and just, my mom, of course. Right. But, like, it's just, boys, boys are going to be boys. So it kind of like, it changed my perspective having a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I had to have, like, soften up and, like, I have to ask for advice. Like, yo, am I being too hard? I know she's a little girl, but like, it's hard,
So it's just like a complete learning process.
They have those emotions,
Yeah.
So I had to, like, I got to be a little bit more tender with her. But
that's probably cool, though, because it's probably opening up new, like, sides of you that you probably didn't even know.
Right. So, yeah, man. Dope. It's different being a father, though, for sure.
Cool, dude. So you've been a father for about going on 4 years now. You do music. Now you have a studio. Let me get into, like, how long you've been doing music for and, like, kind of where'd you start? How did it all happen?
I started when I was like 12 years old. My uncle King Chip got me into music. So I've been doing it for roughly 15 years now.
15 years.
Yeah. But more on a serious level, like 10 years. Like,
that's still long.
I really, like, I used to play football in high school, and my senior year I got kicked off the football team. So, like, I needed something to do with my time, and that's when I realized, like, you know what, like, I should take my music more serious. So I started making beats. I was already making beats, but, like, I started making beats more consistently, and just, I would even skip school and just stay home, make music, write music, record myself, and then from there I just started reaching out to people that I listened to. Like, I started with JT from In Too Deep. He's a mainstream artist. I don't know if you heard Back to the Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he was one of the cats in that group. And from there, I just started sending him beats, and then we ended up doing 2 albums together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had about 5 songs on 2 albums that we did together.
How was that experience?
So it was life-changing, man. It just let me know that I had the potential to really do this shit. So I just kept going and going. And here I am today,
Yeah.
Opening up a studio and helping to create something for everybody in my area, basically. Like, I've been recording a bunch of local artists, and I just hope to inspire other people.
That's all we want in life, man, is just
right.
Whenever you, like, I was just telling Odyssey, it's like, it's about, like, getting to the top but also lending a hand.
Right.
Who wants to be at the top alone?
Right.
Yeah, loneliest people live in mansions. Oh shit, that's a bar. Hold on, that was a bar.
Yeah, that's a bar.
Oh, let's go.
Loneliest people live in mansions, man.
Oh man, that's the start of my music career right there.
That could be true. I could see why, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so what is music to you? Like, what do you think music is, and like, do you think it has like influential power in society?
Definitely, I think music is probably the biggest influence, if not definitely one of the biggest influences in the world. You know, like, what is life without music? So
rhythmless,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, music it's a little bit of everything to me. Like, it's a passion. It's a getaway, and it's just something that I love to do. It's a part of me at this point. But yeah, like I said, like, music was just something that like I genuinely fell in love with just by doing it, you know? Like, it wasn't something that I pictured myself doing ever. It just happened to be that, like, it was just something that I gravitated towards too, and I was just a natural at it.
It just like kept being there.
Right. So like, yeah, I was more like into sports growing up, but music was just that hobby that would always, like, you know, be there, and I would always gravitate towards it. So now it's my job.
Did I hit record on the? Honestly, did I hit record on the camera? Is it blinking? Yeah. Oh, let's go. I remember. I was like, damn. I fucking remember. I was like, dude, I just missed all that. Damn. Dope. But yeah, dude, that's kind of crazy to say that, because I remember that used to be basketball for me. You know, like, hearing what you're saying, it kind of like, that's what it feels like. It's like when you bounce the ball, it just keeps coming back to you.
Right.
You know, like, it never left you. It never hurt you. It just was something that was just waiting for you to like come and like put work into, and it's kind of like you make out of it what you put into it.
Facts.
What was some of like the some of your like favorite songs or favorite bars that you've written throughout your time in music?
One of my favorite songs is called Proud of Me. It was dedicated to my mom. She passed away a little bit over 2 years ago. So that kind of brought me back to being an artist more than just a producer. Like, I just found my voice. I felt, you know, like, it made me want to go harder. So Proud of Me was definitely like a defining moment for me the past couple years. And I've been working on an album with my uncle, King Trip, and we got some bangers on there. So like, that's kind of where I've been putting a lot of my energy into. So, and it kind of lets me know like where my mind state is at right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I feel like I'm at a point of separation, meaning that not putting myself above anybody or anything, but like, in order for me to grow as a person, like, I have to separate myself and really, you know, dig deeper and find myself. Yeah. So that's where I'm at in life, and I'm expressing that in the music, but also in a way of manifesting things. Like, I talk about, you know, being successful and trying to come up and not focusing on bullshit. Like, that's always my like point in music. If you listen to my songs, you'll hear me like, you know, like, that's where I kind of go at. Like, my form of expression is usually like, I'm not focused on negativity. I just want to be successful. Right. So you'll hear that in the music. Okay. Yeah.
What do you cause you said a form of separation and stuff like that, and how do you kind of like execute that? Like, what does that really look like? Do you kind of like sit alone, or do you sit in here with the lights off and just like pen to the paper? Like, how do you kind of find that like that stuff inside? You know what I mean? How do you bring that out?
Man, just like, I have a lot of, you know, I overthink everything. So to me, it's like, you know, sometimes I gotta ignore my phone. And I apologize to everybody, because I know people be like, hey, you take too long to write back or whatever. Like, I got so many text messages, calls, DMs, all that. But sometimes I just want to shut it off and just like really focus on like, what is my goal? Like, what am I trying to do, you know? And how can I make that happen? So when I say separation, I don't mean like I don't want to communicate with people. I just mean like, I just want to find myself first and get to where I want to be. Because in order to help people, you got to help yourself first. Yeah. If you're not where you want to be, how can you help somebody else get where they want to be? So yeah, that's what I mean, like, form of separation. Like, I just like, you know, just process my thoughts and how can I make it happen? Yeah. Because it's true. Because if you're not solid and you're helping people, you might break. Facts. Yeah. That's another bar. I don't know where it's coming from, dude. I think it's the studio, bro. There's something going on here. Vibes, bro. It's the vibes. But that's awesome, dude. Like, I love that message that you're pushing, because that's also really important, because I think a lot of people forget that part. Right. They forget about themselves. They forget to, like, because like the whole motto in
societies. Keep moving forward. Like, oh, like your girl just broke up. You keep moving forward. You whatever happened, just keep moving forward. Like, just keep. And it's just like, yeah, but at the same time, if you just keep moving forward with that baggage, it gets harder and harder to move forward. So you gotta lighten your load,
right?
And like really speak to yourself.
Facts.
You know, and like really figure that out, or else it just gets harder and harder to move forward when it doesn't have to be that way. You know, so I think that's a very important message to like promote, of like separation and sitting with yourself. And I think that's also like what happened with this COVID pandemic stuff, is people had to do that, and they didn't realize that they were carrying all that baggage and all that weight and all that pain and trauma and stuff that they never, because they're just constantly moving forward.
Sometimes you got to take a break. Like, that's why, shout out to my brother, my older brother. He does all my music videos. Well, majority of them. But he's like really big on mental health and meditation. So like, he's somebody that I vent to pretty often. And, you know, he brings awareness to my like problems. He knows how to word things and put things into perspective that it just helps me as a person, like, you know, get that mental clarity that I'm looking for.
Right.
So definitely, like, I feel like everybody just be on the go, like you said, man. And sometimes it's important to just take a breather.
Yeah.
You know, take that time, relax, and like really process things, you know, because sometimes, like you said, man, like there could be something in the back of your head that's bugging you in your everyday life, and you didn't even take the time to really process that trauma or an event that you might have went through. You know, like, it's important to take care of yourself.
Yeah. So. Something I've really been taking up is meditation.
Yeah. That's important, man. Like, you know, you need that. You need to breathe and you know, just
exactly
take that moment of just relax.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And I know like meditation is something that like, I feel like meditation's like a kind of like a buzzword nowadays, you know, because there's like, I feel like there's like so many different ways people like push it and stuff. And I think really what meditation is just like a way of sitting with yourself, you know, because like for me, I try to really like make a point of like if there's a thought that keeps coming to my head and constantly nagging at me and like giving me anxiety or anxious for some reason, I like will sit like and just in the car and like ask, like kind of give myself a therapy session and be like, all right, man, like what's going on with you, man? Like what? And then I'm like, okay, like, all right, that's the issue. What's the solution? And I think of the solution. I'm like, okay, that's the solution. Let me execute. And so now every time that thought, because it's gonna come back. You know, meditation isn't a heal all be all. It's like something to quiet the voices in your head and think clear. You know what I mean? Because you can't figure out a problem if you don't know what the problem is.
Right.
So you have to listen to yourself. You know, because people push that away. Like it's too much for them to like hear themselves.
Right.
You know, because they say like, you probably heard it, like you're your own biggest critic. Like, have you heard that before?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, if that's true, then listen to yourself, because you probably yourself knows best for yourself. So it's like, I don't know. It's just this whole.
I feel like the media, I wouldn't say the media, but like in today's society, it's like not good to have like emotions or feelings, you know?
Yeah.
Like people try to brush it off and ignore the fact that, you know, at the end of the day, we are human. So I feel like a lot of people don't try to pay attention to those thoughts, or they just brush them off like, I'll get over it, you know, just being hard-headed. But sometimes that isn't the case. Sometimes you really do need to sit and think about what problems you might be facing and what can you do about those problems.
So. Right. That's fully. So transitioning out a little bit of that, dude, something I was curious about is the name Lil Bonez.
Right.
Where did that come from? Why Little? Where's like, because Lil's like a real thing in like hip hop, you know, like Lil Wayne, Lil Uzi, you know. But like, so like, why the name Lil Bonez?
Man, funny story, but when I was about 8 years old, a cousin that I have through marriage was actually named Bones, and he was from one of the hoods out here in Santa Maria.
That was like his actual name?
That's his nickname.
Oh, okay.
Like his hood name. But he would always tell me like, hey, you're gonna be Lil Bonez, you know? And I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm 8. I didn't think nothing.
You're like,
of it.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he was talking about like from the hood. And I, like, when I grew up, you know, I was probably like 12, and that's when I started making music, like I said. So I was thinking like, man, like what could my name be? And everybody used to call me Crispy, because my name's Chris Perez.
Okay.
So they would just call me Crispy. But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go by that, you know?
Yeah.
So that just popped in my head. I was like, Lil Bonez, like fuck it, I'm gonna run with it. And then Yeah.
You've been that ever since? You never like had different names or anything other than Crispy?
Nah, I tried to think of a name, but it just didn't happen. Like, I just kept it.
Names kind of have to come organically.
Right.
You know, and they have to feel right. They're kind of like, it's kind of like a sweater. You got to put it on and be like, do you like this?
This shit fits, you know?
Yeah.
So I just stuck with it, man. Like, it just became me, I guess.
That's rare, dude, because a lot of artists go through a bunch of different name changes.
Right.
You know, and like they kind of, it's kind of like we were just saying though, like it's like the sweater, like they put on that sweater, like, oh, I'm gonna be, you know, this cool, and then they're like, nah, and they switch it.
Right.
You know, and so leading with that, like, do you feel like you are Lil Bonez, or do you feel like when you rap or when you get into that music mode, that's Lil Bonez? Like, is there like a separation between like Chris and Lil Bonez?
Man, like I think about that sometimes. Like I feel like I said, it became a part of me. Like everything, like music wise, name wise, it's just my persona, my character, my image.
Yeah.
So at this point, the way that I express my music, I feel like I am Lil Bonez.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't sugarcoat shit in my music. Like I usually just speak facts, you know, or experiences, and like I said, like my point of view, how I feel, and you know, I put it all in the music.
Yeah.
It's all real feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm trying to be something that I'm not.
Right. So you're like very authentically yourself at this point.
Yeah.
Very mature in the music.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's important because I know imposter syndrome is a huge thing in like any industry. I know as like a podcaster, like you start trying to act like a certain host or a certain like character in other podcasts and stuff, and it's funny because it's like you spend your whole life trying to do something like you. Meaning like you spend your whole life making music, trying to make music how you make music. Right. So you go through all these different like phases and impersonations and all this stuff. So like, who are some of like the people that you kind of like looked up to and like took inspiration off of like early on or even now?
Growing up, I was a real big 50 Cent fan. So like, and the thing that I like about 50 Cent is because like, not only is he spitting some gangster shit, but like you can learn something from him. If you listen to him, like his music has a message. Regardless of like what he might be saying, sometimes it's like, you know, some crazy shit, like, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't from no hood. I never, you know, sold drugs and none of that. But at the end of the day, like his music is a message, and he's a hustler. Like it teaches you some shit about business, you know.
Yeah.
So I looked up to 50 Cent as an inspiration. Definitely Tupac. My mom was real big on E40 and Snoop, so that's where I feel like I got some of my style from, you know. Mm-hmm. And of course I'm from the West Coast too, so yeah. So it all falls into place.
All right.
As of right now, I like Lil Wayne and Big Sean, wordplay wise. Nipsey Hussle, I was real big on Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P. to him. And I love people that are authentic. You could hear it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can tell that they are being themselves.
Yeah.
And they offer something unique.
And that makes so much sense because like you could only offer that by being yourself.
Facts.
You know, because like I actually told audiences too, is like no matter what, even if I did music for 15 years, I could never do it like you. You know, and like if you start doing podcasting, you would never do it like me. And that's where the uniqueness comes from. But like if I'm trying to be like you, I'll never be unique. You know what I mean? So it's like being that authentic. It's funny because it's like everyone you named has that too, and it makes so much sense. Like already just even like knowing you for like 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
It's true though, man. Like there will never be another 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? Or another Tupac, another Lil Wayne. Like at the end of the day, there might be people that get inspiration from them or ideas, and that's cool. Like there's nothing wrong with that because everybody has inspirations that they look up to or might take a little bit from and connect it to themselves though because like they can relate to it. Or
that's just part of being human.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, I mean it's just about putting your character into it, you know. Never try to duplicate, but you could take ideas. There's nothing wrong with that. You know.
Dude. So I kind of want to get into, because you're 15 years in the game, dude. You're probably one of the most mature artists I've ever talked to so far.
For real?
Yeah, because everyone I've talked to, you know, like I've talked to a few artists, like, you know, like D-Banks, he's been doing it for what, like 2-3 years now, maybe 4. I've talked to another one, Rico James. He's been doing it about 3-4 years, you know, like. So I've talked to artists that, you know, have been in like, you know, 3-4 years in the game, but like 15 years, that's insane, dude. 15 years, like my basketball career, I felt it was forever, and I only did 10.
Oh shit, that's a long career.
I played from like organized middle school to senior in college, so it's like that was a 10-year span. But like,
how old are you?
24, turning 25 in January.
Oh shit, you young, man. I'm 27.
27.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought you were probably my age at least.
Well, I appreciate that. It means I show mature.
Right.
Maturity.
Nah, that's facts. Yeah.
I'm glad I do. But being 15 years in the game, dude, like, look at this guy. You just got this beautiful studio, dude. This thing is dope. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of maturity to do something like this, to pull something off.
Right.
You know, because especially nowadays, dude, everyone just wants it handed to them. Everybody thinks it's just a pill to lose weight. Everyone just thinks it's a magic trick to get attention and all this stuff. It just happens, you know? But it's like, this is a lot of work, you know? Like you were saying earlier, like you created this space with intention of creativity.
Right.
You know, and like some people might not do that. They might not take that time. But the reason why you do have it is because you do take that time. You know, because pulling something like this off is complex. You know, so like kind of getting to is like, what's the history of that? Like, when did you get this? When did you bring me to day one? Like, was this something like,
man,
were you like 5 years, 10 years in? You're like, I want to get a studio, or was it kind of like how'd this even come to fruition?
This shit started with a laptop. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember having conversations with my dad when I was about 16, because I used to work on beats and recording on the family computer in the living room, you know? And my mom would be vacuuming right there while I'm recording, and I would yell at her. You know, I'd be like, hey, turn that shit off.
Like, I can't hear shit.
Facts. Like, I'd be like, Mom, turn that shit off. Like, I'm recording right now. And they used to talk shit like, man, like, no, I ain't going to turn it off for you.
Yeah.
But I would just, you know, we'd be arguing about it, and my dad's like, you ain't no fucking Dr. Dre. Like, I'm not even bullshitting. Like, this was a real conversation. My homie always tells me, like, I remember your dad telling you ain't Dr. Dre. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, to be here where I'm at today, like, I'm still not Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, you know, like, it's just funny to think about it now, because I remember hitting about age 16, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, buy me a laptop, you know? Like, I need one. And he was like, for what? Like, I told him, you know, I'm trying to make this music happen. And he was a little hesitant at first, but I was like, it's not a waste of money. Like, it's an investment. You know, so I was already thinking like this back then.
Already doing a sales pitch too.
Yeah, I was like, it's an investment. Like, I'm gonna make this money back. You know, like it would you know, help me. So he got me the laptop, and then I remember I was selling beats for like $50 back then, and I had people buying the beats. You know, and then next thing you know, I was selling for $100. Then I started doing my beat website, and then from there, you know, like I said, like it just took off, bro. Like I really pushed it.
Yeah.
I made it happen. And then I had a home studio set up. I started getting little pieces of equipment here and there. Long story short, like I got to where I'm at today, you know?
Yeah.
Like it started with a laptop, like I said, but little by little, everything that I made off of it, I always put it back into the music.
Yeah.
That's the way to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So I'm just blessed to have the talent and the mindset to where I knew I could make it. I could make something happen and create this opportunity for myself and be able to share it with others now.
Yeah, dude.
So, and this building actually, me and my dad actually built all this shit, like the booth and everything, like soundproofing it and all that. Yeah, like we did all the construction. We built all the panels on the walls. So it's like from the ground up, man. Like it started from one thing and led to another.
Damn.
But yeah,
so
man.
You said you had a house studio earlier, right?
Yeah.
That was like in your apartment or what? Or
no, I was staying with my uncle, and my room was a studio. Like these couches were in my room. I slept on this couch right here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this is a futon.
Okay.
Like, bro, like sacrifices, man. Like anything to make it happen. Like I needed that workspace, and I put that before anything else to create that opportunity.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it came a long way, man. Like I'm glad, and I'm so happy to be in this position right now, man.
Yeah,
like,
dude. This is truly amazing.
Thank you.
And I commend you, dude. Like that's definitely. And so since I have you, dude, and you're such like you're gonna be such an inspiration. You already are an inspiration. I'm just saying to like the people that listen to me.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. And I definitely want to take this time and expand more on mindset. I think that's very important here. And try to get people a little bit behind the scenes of who you are and how you did it. So like, how important is it to have like a plan? Did you have a plan? Or was it kind of just like you talk? Maybe it was even a short-term plan, and then that led to another plan. Like how important is plan in this type of process?
It's definitely important to have a goal. You know, there's short-term goals, there's long-term goals. In order to make a long-term goal happen, you have to have short-term goals, of course. You know,
Right.
like how can I get to where I want to be in 2 years? You know, my next goal is buying a house, but how can I make that happen? You know,
Right.
so that's just an example. But you have to understand that it takes effort, patience, sacrifice. You know, and you really got to put your all into it. You can't just say you want something to happen and you're going half-ass at it. So setting a goal and putting in the work is what matters. But definitely important to set goals, man.
Okay.
Like, I feel like that might be overlooked, you know?
The planning aspect, huh?
Yeah, the planning of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also the execution.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause
I feel like, not to cut you off.
No,
man,
go ahead.
but I feel like that comes with people being hesitant because for so
Yeah.
long, like, I've had this idea of like, man, I need a studio, I need a workspace, like a real workspace. And I was always hesitant, like, man, like, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail?
Yeah.
And I was scared.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm putting all my eggs into one basket, man. Like if this doesn't work, like, you know, shit could fall off, man. You know? But you got to be willing to make that jump for sure.
Is
like,
it really
man,
a jump? Does it feel like a jump?
it did, bro, but you'll never be ready. You just do it. And once you do it, you realize like, damn, like why did I wait so long? Like I could have been doing this, you know? It's just about believing in yourself. But it really does. At that first thought, man, it's like, man, like I'm really putting it all on the line right now. But when you do it, you're gonna thank yourself for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great right there, dude. Can you speak on a time, like a personal experience time, where you felt like quitting and you kind of felt like maybe this shit isn't for me? Like, is there like, did you have ever those moments of like extreme self-doubt or anything like that, and then like you came out of it? I mean, obviously you did, but did you ever have those thoughts? Did they really linger around? Like how present was failure and doubt in your mind during all this?
Man, I still have those thoughts. I mean, it's normal, bro. We're human. Like,
Yeah.
it's normal to have doubts. It's normal to second guess yourself. But the thing is, you just gotta realize, like, if you really want something to happen, you gotta make it happen. Like, you can't hesitate. You can't wait for somebody else to do it. It's like, you just gotta really believe in yourself, man. Like, after all those negative thoughts, or like, you know, you might have people like trying to shut it down, whatever you might be wanting to do, but you really just gotta listen to yourself and be like, what really pushed me is what I was just thinking, like, man, like, am I gonna really do this or not? Am I gonna keep half-assing it and then hope that one day it just happens?
It just pops.
I was like, I could easily go get a job, you know, that pays good, but I can't always, like, you know, try to do this music shit. It's either I'm gonna do it or I'm not. So I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
That's a real talk in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. And if all fails, like, there's always a job that you can go get, man. If that's what you're trying to do, like if it's a business or something, or, you know, you're trying to make a career out of your passion, that's what I was thinking. Like, man, I could always go get a job. I'm not gonna be, you know. It's just, I'm still young, man. So I just made it happen.
Wow, dude. No, that's inspiring. I was about to cry right there, dude. That's really inspiring, especially as, like, you know, like me, dude, because I'm doing the same thing. You know, I'm just starting. Like, I'm a year in on this podcasting thing, and, you know, I have dreams and have ideas and stuff, but, you know, like you said, it's like,
I be stumbling on my thoughts, bro. But like, you get what I'm trying to say, right?
I hear you, dude. I hear you 100%. And I think you're speaking very clearly and maturely, and I think a lot of people are gonna hear this message for sure, dude.
It just puts me back in that thought process where I was right there thinking it, bro. Like, I kept telling myself, I'm either gonna do it or I ain't. So, like,
how long did you battle with that?
Here, years, bro.
Years,
yeah. Especially because, like, I was going through a bad relationship with my ex-girlfriend that I have a kid with. So, you know, like, it was different. You know, I had to be able to provide for my daughter. I was going to school. I was working 2 jobs. Like, I was working at a gas station, and then on my days off, or even the days that I was working and I didn't have school, I would work with my dad doing construction, you know, roofing or whatever he might need help with. So, like, I was always having that pressure on me, like, yo, we need like this and that, you know? And then, you know, the relationship ended up falling apart for whatever reason. And then I still had to provide for my daughter, and, you know? So it was always like pressure, like, man, like, how can I make this happen to where it's my full-time job without having my daughter suffer and going without, you know? So it was like it was a rough transition. Right. It was. but it happens, you know.
It's not always perfect, huh?
Nah, definitely not. But that's another reason why it was so hard to get to this point, because like I didn't put myself first. But at one point when I just said, you know, I'm not gonna deal with like a toxic relationship, like I'm gonna do what the fuck I need to do and what I want to do. You don't have to believe in me, because that was a part of it too, like the belief, you know, like she didn't believe that this shit would happen.
Yeah.
So it was like constantly just like nagging when I would go to the studio or do whatever the fuck I needed to do career wise. It just like nobody believes that you could do music for a living. It's kind of hard to believe, you know?
Yeah.
So, but here I am.
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, it is hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah. These are hard industries, man. Whenever you kind of into any type of form of like entertainment, it's hard.
Right.
You know, like whenever the industry is relying on other people like fucking with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like music, they have to fuck with you. Like people have to, you know, and same with like what I'm doing. It's everything. And I think just from getting with just even just these simple sit down right here, dude, like I can see why you made it, dude.
Thanks,
it makes
bro.
sense.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's crazy, dude. We're gonna have to talk more and more.
For sure.
So one thing I wanted to get into, this is more for my non-music people right here, especially with me, because I'm also curious. So this is like very curious question is like, what exactly is a music producer / engineer? Like, what does that mean? What does it entail?
Music producer or engineer, there's different engineers. You could be a recording engineer, meaning like you do the recording process, you know, make sure that the mic levels are good and you're capturing great recordings, making sure that you're running the right equipment, stage setting, you know, make sure that you're setting up the equipment properly. There's mix engineers, meaning you do the song mix, the creative part, making sure that the vocals and all the levels are proper. And then there's mastering engineers who make sure that the final level and the final outcome of the song is up to par with, you know, radio ready play. So me being all three, you know, like it's like there's different levels to it, you know.
There's a lot to it, yeah.
And there's also executive producers. My opinion and what an executive producer might be is like they oversee the whole song, from the creative aspect to the technical aspect of it. So like, you know, I might tell somebody, hey, you know, on the hook, maybe you should change these words around, or, you know, maybe you should change this phrase, or, you know, notes, whatever, or take that instrument out, swap it with this, right? Change the arrangement. Like it could be a number of things that an executive producer might want to do or oversee the project, you know. There's also beat makers, people that just do the compositions of instruments and all that. Right. But overall, those are all part of being a producer. Okay. Like if you call yourself a producer, most likely you know how to do all those things.
Yeah, because you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Unless you, yeah, because it kind of sounds like a team.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like position coaches for like point guards, shooting guards, big men. Then you have the overall coach, would be like the executive producer, who like kind of is involved with everything. Right. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm hearing. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. Like, I mean, everything takes a team, man. Like, it can't just be one man all the time.
Yeah, dude.
So, you know, the more brains you put together, chances are you're going to come out with a better outcome.
Exactly.
So, and also being able to do all those things, it's a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think you have to know a little bit about everything in order to have a team. Or if you're going to be like the head of the team, you know, because you got to teach people how to do it, or if they need help, things like that. Unless you hire like experts at it, you know? Right. Unless that's just what they do, then, you know, that's trust then.
It's all part of like building value. Like the more you bring to a table, the more valuable you are. So like I'm honestly, like I've practiced all these things, so I'm blessed to be able to offer that to people. Right. Yeah. You know, like I could even be a vocal coach, like me being an artist myself. When I'm recording people, I'm able to tell them like, hey, maybe you should add more emphasis, or, you know, more passion into that. Like I want to feel it. You know, like it sounds good, but I don't feel it right now. So yeah, just being able to help throughout the whole process. Yeah, man, it's different.
Yeah, and I think you only get there with 15 years of experience. You know what I mean? Like facts. Like you can't just jump into that role. Right. You know, and I think that's important to let younger artists know, is like, you can't, there's no speedy way to get to where you're at. You know, it's really just about time, hard work, consistency.
Definitely.
You know, you can't just jump into it. Because I feel like that happens too. I mean, that even happens with me. You try to like overbite.
Right.
And you end up with too much to chew. Yeah. So I'm spitting bars right now, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, we might have to jump in the booth after this interview.
Man.
We might have to make a little
make a music
like
video,
an
bro,
interlude or something, man. We might have to do a drop for you for your podcast.
Hey, dude, that'd be
something,
dope.
man.
Hey, dude, you know what? That'll be pretty sick. I can send you my intro beat and we can make it like you can sample it. That'd be hard.
You got one?
I have an intro beat. Yeah.
All right, bet.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that.
It's 44 seconds. This is my little intro, just a little melody. So
you can put it on this episode.
Oh shit! I'll be down, man. I'll be down.
Special edition. No, I'm playing.
Bonus at the end, bro. That'd be sick. That'd be a cool outro to like end the podcast with a banger, just to give them like a cool like they could just vibe out like after the podcast. That'd be pretty hard.
Yeah.
That'd be hard.
For sure.
Dude, I wanted to jump into because I do a little intake, but I don't call it research. Because I don't like to know everything about everybody that I sit down with. I like just to know the bases. Because for me, if I already know, I might forget to ask you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, and that does a disservice to the audience, you know? So I like to go in kind of a little naive because I will ask the questions that the audience probably is wondering as well because they have no idea. Right. And so one thing I was curious about, and obviously it's a eye catcher, is you have like, it says music on BET, Netflix, CBS, TV One, and a couple, and it says and more. I think I might be missing one, but what is that music and like where is like what is that?
Those are those are compositions that I've done for it's a company called True Music. They're a sync licensing catalog based in Pasadena, and I actually linked up with them. I want to say early 2013, and they loved the music that I showed them, so we just started working together. And when they had production runs, I would just send music, like submissions of all my beats that I was working on at that time. And they would select them, add them to their catalog. And when they would have contracts for TV shows, they would pitch them and throw them into the shows.
Wow.
So I've done a lot of shows, man, like Real Husbands of Hollywood with Kevin Hart.
What?
Yeah.
You had your beat on there?
A bunch, bro. Like, I'm on multiple seasons at this point. You know, it's been 7 years of TV shows that I've been in.
And it's like the music that like, transitioning between shots or music that's in shots, right?
Right. Background music, all that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I've done the Keisha Cole show, Gabrielle Union show, Black Lightning. That's on Netflix.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, so I've done The Neighborhood. It's a movie with Cedric the Entertainer. Single Ladies. Man, I can't even think of all the shows, bro. It's a big list, but
wow, dude.
I have over 100 beats that are always being licensed to TV shows. So.
And is that what they call royalties?
Yeah.
So every time it's just played or streamed, or how does that work? Like, how is that part? It's just every time like someone watches it, you get a little like slit, a little cut.
Yeah. So they pay like cents per play, and it also depends on the duration and all that. It also depends if the songs have lyrics or they don't. It could depend on the network that it's played on. You know, if it's like a big network like Fox or like CBS, all that, like every network pays differently. So, yeah, I see some money. I'm not gonna lie though, I got a bad contract, you know, so I got fucked over. You know, just me being young and my manager at the time not wanting to take the proper steps to make sure that we got paid properly. Yeah. So, it is what it is though. I mean, it's still
on the resume. Man,
yeah, exactly. And it was a good learning experience, man. And just being able to say that I've done that is like, you know, it's like something that somebody dreams of.
It's like a badge.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because a lot of artists would dream of that.
Right.
You know, that's kind of like, and don't let me speak for you, but like, that's kind of like an I made it moment. Is that kind of how you felt, or did you have that moment earlier or later on? Or was it studio the I made it moment?
Nah, being 19 at that time, and I had just produced a beat for E40 as well that year. So like that moment or that whole like time period, I was just like, man, like shit's gonna change soon, you know? Like I'm probably gonna, you know, change my whole lifestyle and shit. Yeah. And then and like I was going through like a rough patch with my family and all that, you know, so it was like, man, like this is life changing. Yeah. You know, that's how I felt. Everything was so inspiring. Wow. I had put my all into that music, man. Like I was on the road to LA every freaking week. Like I would be out there 2-3 days out the week and then come back home, you know? Yeah. And then next week do it again and just keep trying to seize these opportunities.
Just in it, huh?
Yeah. So like I was waiting for that big check to come, you know?
Yeah.
I swear, like, man, like, I should have been paid like a couple $100,000 back then, you know? Like, that's how crazy it was. Like, I was like, man, like, I'm just waiting, and that never happened, you know? So it's like starting from ground one again. And I'm glad that it happened, though, in a way, because I had to, you know, really figure out what the industry is like.
And that's the next. I was like one of the next phases, right? Like,
yeah,
because it's kind of like music's like, it's like step one, like make music, right? And then it's like step two, like get people to listen to it. And then once all that happens, it's like, okay, now you're in the industry, and like now it's kind of like, and that's probably like, all right, what the fuck is this industry shit? See,
that's why I push this a lot lately. Like, it's one thing to be able to do music, and it's another thing to be able to do business. So like when you understand. Fact, bars. when you understand that this is a business, you start looking at it a little bit differently, and it kind of kills the passion of like creating the music, you know. But you have to understand, like, if you really want to do this, you got to know how to do both, you know. You could do good music, but if you don't know how to do good business, chances are it's not gonna happen. But yeah, man, that's with anything though. Anything that you do, you have to understand that it's a business.
It reminds me of Jay-Z's bar of, I don't do business. Oh no,
I'm not a businessman. I'm a business, right?
No, I'm not a businessman. I just do business, man.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's a bar.
That's true.
That's just probably cultivated everything you just said right there. That's crazy.
Right.
Makes sense. So like, this is speaking to like more mature artists that may listen to this. Is kind of what do they have to know? What would you say is some of the stuff like that you learned through that like process of kind of getting fucked over?
Excuse me.
Like, what would you pass on to them about like this whole contract and music business? Like, what are some like a little gems you can give to them?
Know what you're getting yourself into. Yeah, like, it's okay to be excited, you know. Like, when a big opportunity comes, like, you want to just fucking go all in, but make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. For sure. Overlook your contracts. Learn the lingo. Learn how to read it. If you don't know how to read it, make sure you find somebody that does. And yeah, man, like, also, it's not about just the upfront money. Like, yeah, we might be eager to get paid, but make sure that you know that you're not, you know, getting gypped or something, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make sure that you learn something. Like, before you just go head into something, you got to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
That's all I can say.
That makes sense. It's kind of like, yeah, we'll pay you, you know, like $50K rather than giving you like 2% of the company.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's funny too, because like, to bring up a story, I'm pretty sure you probably read it or seen the video about it. But the dude that sings one of the songs, or he's the voice of Simba on The Lion King, they offered him $2 million up front, and he denied it. He said, just pay me my royalties. And I've heard he's made over $20 million in royalties since the movie came out. So like, that's just an example.
That's just knowing.
Yeah, like, sometimes it's cool to take a payout, but just know like what you might be missing out on in the long run. It's a gamble, but
like, really look at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like I don't know if it's a cliche. I know it's a saying where it's like, would you rather get $100,000 now or $1 million in 5 years? Yeah. You know, something like that. It's like that type of like situation. It's exactly what it is. It's really just a gamble though, huh?
Right.
Like, just knowing like, you know what, this is something good right here. This is something like, let me not take the short-term benefit. Right.
And see, the reason why, to bring up my personal experience, the reason why I know I got fucked over is because I learned about it afterwards. Is publishing is where the music, you know, that's the ownership of the music. You don't sell your publishing. And if you do, you got to get paid out like a good chunk of money. You don't just give away your rights to something, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I was aware of it at the time, but, you know, my manager, he was so like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he just wanted to jump on it. He's like, man, let's just do it and show him what we could do. Let's just do it. And I was like, all right, bro, I'm trusting you, you know? Like, you know, you do the business side of things, I do the music. That's how it's going to be. So I trusted him. But don't ever sell your rights to your music. Like, you got to maintain some type of ownership to it. And if you don't, then it's got to be like a good payout, you know? It's got to be reasonable. Like, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's business. You got to know what you're doing.
Right. And you get what you negotiate.
Exactly. If not, maintain partial ownership or full ownership, you know? So that's where we lost out. We didn't get a payout and we didn't maintain any ownership. So it was just like a bad deal.
Yeah.
Like, why do that?
Right. It's kind of funny because that's owning your, like, they call it an IP, right? In podcasting. I don't know if it's in music, but it's basically like owning your show's rights, and that's like a big topic in podcasting these days because the biggest podcast in the world, Joe Rogan, he's making waves and all this because he owns 100% of his show.
Yeah.
And I was listening to his episodes and stuff, and he was dropping gems about it, and was like, he's like, I just, because like one of his guests were asking like, how are you doing it, Joe? Like what, like how are you like making all? He's like, dude, I own everything, and he's like, I've been offered like very generous sums of money, and even just for half the show and all this stuff, and he's like, I always just said no because once people get involved, it's kind of like letting the wolf in the hen house or the fox in the hen house. You know, once you let a
Excuse me.
what does it call it? Coyote, once you let like a predator in or let something else in, it's always hard to get them out. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's like ownership is like very valuable because also too, you got to ask yourself, why are they offering this much money?
Right.
You know, so it's that valuable. So maybe I should hold on to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of one of those things. It's probably like what that guy said is like, why are they offering me $2 million? You know what I mean? $2 million for voice, like voice acting. I think that's kind of high. Like,
yeah. That's
so
a
it's
lot
just
of money.
like, you know what? I think this is gonna be big. So it's like you kind of have to look at that too. I think that's something huge in podcasting right now because everybody wants to be produced by Showtime or produced by somebody or whatever. You get all like the recognition and all that stuff, but like you don't own shit. You just show up and hit the mic. You know, you can't just say what you want because it's not your shit. You know what I mean? So because they have an image, because now it's like you're backing an image, your representation of Showtime or whoever the hell is producing you, and they might not be like, you can't say that, like, oh, like, you know what I mean? If you say that, it's gonna make us look bad and shit. So now it's like you just lost control of what made the show so good.
Yeah, you got to follow all these restrictions now.
Yeah, it's not your shit no more.
Right. And that's another thing too. Like, it's like for example, like it's like when they say somebody could look rich and be broke. But the man that doesn't look rich is probably the one that has more money. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing, man.
Live within your means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like people could be on Showtime and chances are they're getting a small check, but it looks good. You know, it looks cool. But the dude, like you said, Joe Rogan, he owns all his shit. Like he probably has more money, like regardless of if it's Showtime or not. You know,
exactly.
I don't know who that is, to be honest, but I heard the name. I heard the name for sure, but like
he's
I don't know if
he's the biggest podcaster in the game.
If he's on a big network too, or he's on his own.
He owns his own shit.
Oh, see,
he owns everything, and he just did a deal with Spotify, for $100 million, and all it is that he just puts his podcast exclusively on Spotify. He still owns everything. So that all they can do now, all they just own everything. I mean, they don't own anything. They just, now Spotify's the only ones that will have the Joe Rogan podcast. And so in theory, that brings, because he gets like, I think he gets anywhere between like 10 and 20 million monthly listeners.
Damn.
So he brings that many listeners to because Spotify's trying to up their podcasting game because podcasting is hot right now.
Right.
And so Spotify now just took 20 million listeners on average. That's not a high. That's on average from Apple Podcast because now Joe Rogan is no longer going to be on Apple Podcast. And that is worth $100 million. But he gets to own everything still. He's still completely in control. He owns his show. They can't take shit away from him. He just has to put his episodes on there only now.
Right.
That's insane.
That's crazy, man.
That's insane, huh?
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's just, and that deal is huge, even for me, the little guy, because it's a limitation, not a limitation. It's like a verification that podcasting is a real industry. It's a real business, and there's real money in here, and this is valuable.
Right.
You know, so even for me, I might not ever see that money, but that money's there and it's possible.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, it just trickles down now. You know, because now podcasters can ask for that type of money if they, you know what I mean? They can ask for good chunks of money and stuff like that now. So it's just a big move, and but yeah, Joe Rogan, yeah.
Just keep doing your thing, bro.
It's crazy. You gotta learn the business, and that's something, you know, I'm slowly learning, but I don't want to learn too much too quick because it's like I have a lot going on still. You know, I'm still trying to just focus on the show. So
right.
Yeah.
Just keep developing.
Keep developing, dude.
Yeah, man.
Let's see here, man. I think we've been over pretty much everything. We're doing really great on time. Oh, shit.
King Trip's been waiting outside.
Let's go. You want to go get him?
He's been calling me. Nah, I don't even know if he's out there. It's been about 30 minutes. That shit flew by.
It flew by. I mean, we're at about to be an hour right now.
Damn, for real?
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a short episode, but we made it the full way.
Hey, this is the time limit right here, dude.
That's cool, man.
I just took a peek at my thing. We covered every single thing, bro, and more, way more too.
I was gonna add to your last point about like the podcasting being a growing industry and Joe Rogan exclusively doing a deal with Spotify.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Because a lot of artists, they drop music specifically on Tidal first because Spotify pays about 4 to 5 times the amount of royalties that other streaming platforms pay out. So like a lot of people will like, exclusive Spotify drop for the first week, you know, in hopes that people will go to Tidal and become listeners because it benefits the artist.
Wow.
Yeah, so like, that's cool that he does that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it just draws listeners to go to that platform, you know.
Exactly.
So and it probably worked in his favor, obviously, if he did that deal with Spotify.
Yeah, because it's like now those 20 million listeners are listening to Joe Rogan. And even if they just listen to Joe Rogan, now there's a chance that they might start listening to other podcasts on that platform. Right. You know, your chances go high like that. If 20 million people listen to it, the chances are you're going to get a solid amount of people listening to other podcasts. You know, so that's great.
Is there apps or streaming platforms that are specifically only podcasts?
Yeah, so there's but those are like, those ones aren't huge, but they're there. There's like Castbox. That's one. There's I'm on them. Castbox. There's what are they? Caster, I think. I don't even know their names because I rarely get streams on there.
I'm gonna start one called the podcasting couch.
Hey, there we go. The podcast, the red couch, bro.
The casting couch coming soon.
But yeah, dude, there are. It's hard to promote those because people don't have those apps. I don't know who has those. I haven't found the audience that has those apps.
Right.
But because my streams come from Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and a little bit of Google Podcasts. Those are like the 4 main ones that people listen to me now. But now that I have YouTube, it's like YouTube just is like way more viewership now than my audio because a lot of people have been waiting for the video. Right. I just haven't had the means of it, but now I got one, so that's where a lot of my views are going.
Hell yeah, man.
We're a visual society nowadays, as you should know, because you have pretty dope music videos.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, man, that's another thing too. See, we was talking about dropping videos exclusively on OnlyFans. Not necessarily explicit content, but just the fact that they have to pay to subscribe and watch your videos. It's like, man, like, take advantage.
Tell me why I was thinking about that, dude.
Do that.
I was thinking about I was thinking about doing the podcast on OnlyFans. And these videos, like, it would be snip clips on YouTube for, like, promotion so you can get a taste. But then the full episodes are on OnlyFans.
Hey, bro, like, we might be thinking ahead on something. Like, it might be a platform that starts that. Like, any content that you do and you want to get paid for people to
per
view
video.
It, like, even if it's not videos, like, it could just be anything at this point.
Yeah, anything.
Audio, pictures. Like, people pay you to see your shit. Like, you want to follow me on Instagram? It's $10 to follow me on Instagram. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I hear you.
It could be a growing industry to where creatives get paid for their time and what they want to do without having to be, having a big audience.
Exactly, yeah.
Where everybody could live off of what they want to do. Exactly.
Because that's exactly my thought process, too. I was like, yo, like, if I'm doing a video a week, right? Right. And I make it the episode $5 and say I got 100 loyal listeners. Means I'm gonna make just, that's low too. Like, you can start there. That means if I got 100 views per week, that's $500 per week. Right. Which comes out to about $2,000 a month. Right. Just off $5. And you start. I mean, of course, you're gonna start like growing, and then the price could go up a little more.
That's just one episode too.
And that's just an episode a week. That's $500. That's smooth. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's low too. I mean, like, when you start getting real good, popular demand, stuff like that, you get more. You can raise the price a little more. You can raise it like $10. You start getting like 200 listeners. Math starts getting crazy then. So it's like, there's something there, bro. I thought about it. I'm like, I might do it, dude. Because also it's shock value too. Like a podcast on OnlyFans.
That's some Howard Stern shit.
What are they doing over there?
For real.
But yeah, dude. We can go ahead and end the show here. How I like to end it though is I like to hand over the mic and give my guests the last words to speak to whoever they want to speak to their future selves. Just kind of an uninterrupted time just to have one last thing to say. And then when you hand it back to me, I'll go ahead and end the show, man.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you for having me, first of all.
Oh, yeah,
shout out to you for making the road trip, man. And shout out to Odyssey Visuals for connecting the dots. Shout out to my daughter, because she's probably going to watch this. She always watches everything. So if you're listening, you better behave, all right? And yeah, just shout out to the listeners. You know, it's a new audience for me. So, you know, thank you to this man right here. Shout out to everybody that supports me and helped me reach this goal. And much love. I hope we all have a successful year in 2021, because it's already almost the end of November. So happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, finish the year off strong, you know what I'm saying? Stay safe out there. Much love.
All right, man. That was Lil Bonez for you guys in his studio. If you want to find him on Instagram, that's Little.
It's all my my social medias are real_LilBonez and Facebook /real LilBonez.
Yeah.
Instagram, it's my bad, Spotify, all that is just Lil Bonez, so you can check out the music and all that. And YouTube is Real Lil Bonez TV.
There we go.
Make it easy on y'all.
All right, there it have it. If you want more of Lil Bonez, you can go find him on those social platforms. But yeah, guys, that's all I got to say for this week. I'll see y'all next week. It's your boy, aka OMG on the mic, signing off. Peace.